Welcome to the Anti-Noise Experience podcast, Endurance, Noise, and Random Musings. Tuesday, around 6 o'clock. Heading over to the Baker Systems Project through my neighborhood, Elm Street. So nice at my neighborhood. For a while there, it was getting kind of old. And now we're getting a lot of young families moving in. You can hear the kids in the background. Kids are out playing. And it's really nice to see a lot of young couples instead of, the neighborhood just aging out. So that's always good. Myself being 57, grown kids, so I'm going to be part of that old people in the thing. Definitely crazy times. Did the past two podcasts. If you were listening to them or watched them on YouTube, sorry about the audio quality. Believe it or not, I was using a Rode microphone hooked up to my iPad, and I thought it was recording well. I just kind of listened to the beginning and didn't pay attention. And unfortunately, it's all staticky. Who knows what's going on? Just trying to show stuff on the screen. Probably should just go with this way, how I started. Actually, I started the podcast in 2018, 2 years ago, but it was just audio. Got into this crazy video with a jester doing our race reports and all that stuff, and got into this crazy world of the YouTube. My account used to be monetized, then they changed the rules, so you have to have 1,000 subscribers. Thank you for those who have subscribed, but I have like 77, 78, so I think I've gained 10 since I've actually been putting work into this thing. So at that rate, I'll be monetized, and if I get 100 a year in 10 years, I'll be 67. So that's not happening. And then you have to have 4,000 hours of viewing. But that's not why I do these. I enjoy doing the podcast, just kind of, not because I'm not a fan of writing, and I got the podcast started because I had people ask me questions, mainly my athletes when I was coaching full time, and I'd much rather just send them a message and tell them, give them my 2 cents, and then it's kind of grown, as you have known now. So the first podcast I did that I dumped, probably shouldn't even been a full podcast. It was a no-brainer article on Podium Runner saying, hey, trust your thirst. Duh. You spend so much time and energy talking about hydration plans for this race or that race. And basically, after all that's said and done, and a lot of it is just pure advertising bullshit. That's what is on the podcast. That's what's in the magazines. Tons and tons of advertising. And it's all sports drinks and sports products. Game's down to good old horse sense of when you're thirsty, drink. When you're not thirsty, don't drink. And there's this little rice-sized node in your brain, in part of the bloodstream, that basically calculates how much fluid you're taking in and everything else. Your sweat rate, all this stuff, amazing little microprocessor, and you're good to go. And it basically goes down to, humans until 100 years ago, we didn't have running water at our disposal, ice at our disposal, medicines at our disposal. And so, we were hunter-gatherers. And so throughout the day, you got slightly dehydrated, but you could continue on, chase down the animals you're hunting, forage, look for whatever. And then at night, you rehydrate. So humans are perfectly fine training or running in a dehydrated state. But somehow we got into this insane that's not possible. I'll change hands here. My arm getting tired already. So, it's kind of silly. So what it is trust your thirst and just drink when you need to. I kind of told a story about how I ran my first marathon in 1980. And I live here in Bakersfield. It's 90 right now. It's October. And trained, we didn't carry water bottles, hydration. We'd stop at a garden hose. Oh my God, we drank out of garden hoses. Or we would, run through sprinklers. But we did a lot of training and we just got dehydrated, get back from training and drink. And then I ran my first marathon in 1980, and there were aid stations with water and orange slices. Ugh. And stupid me, because everybody's telling me you need a drink, even back in the late 70s, 80s, by the way, when Americans were great at marathoning. Bill Rogers, Frank Shorter, we won. We were the kings of the race. Now we had one American at London. I get it, it's hard to travel, but he was so far back, he almost got lapped on a 1.5 mile course or whatever. So anyways, I listened to the nonsense and was drinking at these aid stations. By about mile 20, my legs were okay, but my stomach was sloshing around and felt like shit, and I got waterlogged. And that's how people die in marathons. You don't die from dehydration. You die from being waterlogged. Dehydrated, you might collapse, stick an IV in you, bring you back to life, hydrate you. But with waterlogged, you mess up your electrolyte levels, and we're just one big battery, and you stop functioning and you die. So Tim Noakes wrote The Lore of Running, and he said for a long time, just drink the thirst. You know what to do. Put yourself in training situations so you can. Like I train all the time, me and the jester, and we don't hydrate or nutrate. And then during races, we just do it by feel. And so that's what the article basically said. So that was part of it. And then the podcast I dumped because the audio was crap again was a good one, I thought. Endurance News Daily. And about California teams going to Arizona and dominating Newberry Park. Great Oak went there. They had to be club teams because California, it's technically summer still because our season didn't start till November or something, so they'll get in trouble if they're run for their teams. So they went there and they dominated in Arizona. I guess it was hot, but it was kind of cool that Great Oak, lost most of their team from graduation, and they come back still as strong as ever. They just reload, they don't rebuild. And then Newberry Park, of course, is doing really, really great, and they're a much smaller school. So that was kind of fun to see. Of course, it's great hearing all the accolades Sarah Hall's getting, being 37 with 4 kids and coming back and running the best time by an American last year in Berlin in 2019, and then crushing London, getting second. Of course, there's a shoe controversy. People were asking questions about her shoes, but according to everyone, they were approved by the World Marathoning, so that's okay. Excellent article on Let's Run about how, she was great in high school, national champs, pretty good at Stanford. Pro career didn't really take off. Her husband, Ryan, at age 25, was our best American marathoner, so she kind of followed in his footsteps and wasn't really happy with running. But now, over the past couple of years, becoming a mother and Ryan retiring, she's having a lot of success. Really good article, so check that out. Tomorrow, big news, we had Berlin. Tomorrow, Joshua Cheptegei, the guy who broke the 5K record. He was 15, 16 years old in Monaco. He's going after the 10K record by Bekele. It's like 26 something, some crazy time. And it's going to be, you can see it on the internet, supposedly on YouTube. I'll try and put in the show notes how you can watch it. I definitely want to watch it. I think it's going to be in the afternoon instead of crazy in the middle of the morning. There's also going to be a 5K record attempt by an Ethiopian, Gede, on the women's side. Look forward to seeing her. She was amazing watching her in the World Championships. And it was kind of funny. Joshua said, the 10K record is hard, but I am harder. And some guy retweeted it and said, that's the most gangster thing I've ever heard a distance runner say. And it definitely reminded me of Prefontaine. Of course, Prefontaine never really set any world records or won any medals. And Joshua's got world records, road 5K, track 5K, world cross country, world 10K championships. So he's the real deal. Pretty impressive young Ugandan. Uganda's definitely coming up. It's interesting, we were talking in an article about Ugandan running, and it's very similar to Kenya in terms of terrain and stuff and talent, but it's been their political unrest has been what's held back Kenya for so long. So it'll definitely be interesting to see what happens in the future. Well, look at here. There's a Cameo, one of my shopping carts. I just walked by these apartments that I walk by many times a day, and it's always amazing. I mean, I'm glad a lot of people weren't smoking, and it's unhealthy, but the thing that sucks about being, smokers being ostracized is now they all sit outside and smoke. So you walk by there, and there's always people on the patio smoking. It's like, hey, smoke in the house. I know I hate the family that has to deal with it, but I don't want to smell the cigarette smoke. And I've complained about the pot smokers too. Speaking of pot smokers, heading over here to Beach Park and Skate Park, and it's like being at a Rasta reggae concert. So we got that 5K women's, 10K men's coming up tomorrow in Valencia, Spain. For some reason, Valencia, Spain is just putting on races. And then later on in this year, they're going to have a half marathon. Look for some fast times. American Jordan Hussein is going to be there. Lots of great other athletes. And then, of course, in Poland in a week or two is the World Championship for the half marathon. So looking forward to watching that. So not much else going on. My training is still, should I run, should I walk? Think I'm going to be doing some changes here with the track, with my distance project, and I'll talk to you about that probably after this. I'm under this tunnel under 24th Street. Last night when I walked through here, there were hundreds of little bats flying around. Pretty crazy. So, as always, stay healthy, be boring, not epic.